What if I told you that the very things you consider assets might actually be the reason you're financially stuck? It may sound harsh, but it's the truth. Every day, people throw their money into things that seem valuable, but are silently draining their bank accounts. It's easy to fall into the trap because we've all been told to work hard and get the things that look successful on the outside, right? But here's the secret. Wealth isn't about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep and how you manage what you have. The rich understand the difference between true assets and what I call financial traps, things that look like assets but actually make you purr. If you've ever wondered why it feels like you're working hard but still can't get ahead, this video will reveal the 11 worst so-called assets that are keeping you poor. We'll also discuss some of the most common mistakes people make when it comes to handling money. Number 7 is a trap so many fall for without even realizing it, and it can derail your financial progress for years. Let's dive into it. 1. New cars. Let's talk about something we all dream about, owning a new car. There's no denying how good it feels to drive a shiny new vehicle off the lot. You've worked hard, and it feels like the reward you deserve. But here's where things start going wrong. The second you drive that car off the lot, it begins to lose value instantly. Imagine buying a new car for $40,000. As soon as you drive it, the car is worth $5,000 less. Over the next few years, your $40,000 car might drop in value to $20,000 or less. Most people take out loans to finance their new car, paying interest on an asset that's losing value from day one. By the time you finish paying it off, you could end up spending $50,000 or more for a car that is worth a fraction of that amount. But here's what the wealthy do differently. Instead of purchasing new cars, they buy slightly used ones. They buy cars that are a couple of years old, so they skip the initial depreciation. They still get a reliable car but save thousands of dollars in the process. Next time you're thinking about purchasing that new car, ask yourself, am I really investing in this, or just losing money faster? 2. Timeshares. Timeshares are another asset that many people mistakenly believe are investments. You've probably seen those vacation packages that promise you a vacation spot for life, at a fraction of the cost. Sounds amazing, right? You pay a large upfront fee, and then you can use the property for 1 or 2 weeks every year, forever. It seems like a win-win. But here's the thing. Timeshares are more like financial handcuffs. Not only do you pay a massive upfront cost, but you're also stuck with rising maintenance fees that you must pay every year, whether you use the property or not. And let's not forget, trying to sell a timeshare is nearly impossible. The market is so saturated with people trying to get rid of theirs that it's almost like trying to sell a used treadmill. No one wants it. The wealthy avoid these traps. Instead of locking themselves into one location, they have the freedom to book vacations whenever they want, at different spots around the world. Their money is better spent on investments that grow, like stocks or real estate, which gives them both flexibility and financial security. So, before you sign that timeshare contract, ask yourself, do I really want to be locked into the same vacation property for the rest of my life, or would I rather have the freedom to go wherever I want? 3. Designer clothes and accessories. Who doesn't love a little luxury? Fancy handbags, a luxury watch, a new pair of designer sneakers, they look great and feel great to own, don't they? But here's the truth. Spending thousands on designer clothes and accessories doesn't make you rich. In fact, it can actually make you poor. People often buy designer brands for the status they bring, not because the quality is so much better. Let's be honest here. How much of the price of a Gucci belt or a Rolex is for the logo? But the worst part? Many people swipe their credit cards to buy these luxury items, paying interest on things that don't appreciate in value. The reality is that $2,000 handbag or $5,000 watch will never grow in value. 10 years from now, it'll probably be worth half of what you paid for it. Wealthy people, on the other hand, don't waste money on status symbols. They buy assets that appreciate over time, things like stocks, real estate, and businesses. They focus on long-term growth, not immediate gratification. So, the next time you're tempted by designer items, ask yourself, am I buying this because I truly love it or just to impress others? 4. Lottery tickets. We've all fantasized about winning the lottery. You buy a ticket, and instantly, you start imagining what you'd do with all that money. Quit your job, travel the world, buy your dream home. But here's the harsh reality. The lottery is not an investment. It's a game of hope with terrible odds. The chance of winning the jackpot is 1 in 292 million. Yet, people spend hundreds of dollars each year on lottery tickets, thinking their luck will change. But think about this. What if you took that same $400 a year and invested it in something that actually grows, like stocks, index funds, or even a small business? Over time, that $400 could turn into thousands of dollars. The lottery sells hope, but it's false hope. The odds are stacked against you, and most of your money just disappears. Wealthy people don't rely on luck. They build their wealth slowly and consistently, investing in things that have real potential for growth. So, before you buy that lottery ticket, ask yourself, am I investing in my future, or just paying for a daydream? 5. Overpriced degrees. Going to college has always been seen as the key to success, right? But not all degrees are created equal. Let's say you borrow $100,000 to get a degree in a field that doesn't lead to a high-paying job. Now, you're stuck with the debt, but you're not really getting anywhere. The reality is, not all degrees provide a solid return on investment. Wealthy people treat education as an investment. They ask themselves, how much will this degree help me earn? They often choose fields that lead to high-paying jobs like tech, medicine, or engineering. But for many people, they take out huge loans for degrees that don't pay off, and they're stuck with debt for decades, while earning just enough to get by. Before you take on massive student loans, ask yourself, is this degree really going to pay off, or am I just taking on debt for a piece of paper? 6. High debt. How many times have you bought something on credit and thought, I'll just pay it off later? But the problem with credit card debt is that it grows fast. If you put $5,000 on a credit card with a 20% interest rate and only make the minimum payments, you'll end up paying far more than you borrowed. Wealthy people don't use credit cards to buy things they can't afford. Instead, they use debt as a tool to invest in things that make them money, like real estate or businesses. They understand that debt can be leveraged, but only if it's used wisely. Most people, however, use debt to buy things that lose value: designer clothes, gadgets, dinners, stuff that doesn't put money back in their pockets. Before swiping that credit card, ask yourself, is this purchase going to help me grow financially, or am I just digging myself deeper into debt? 7. Boats and luxury toys. Imagine this: owning a boat, cruising on the water, feeling like a boss. But what most people don't realize is that owning a boat is a huge drain on your finances. Boats are like big, expensive pets. They require constant maintenance, docking fees, insurance, fuel, and storage. The truth is, unless you're using your boat frequently, the costs far outweigh the enjoyment. The two best days of owning a boat are said to be the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Wealthy people understand this, and they don't buy boats unless they truly use them often. Instead, they rent or charter boats when they want them, avoiding the headache and the cost. So before you jump into boat ownership, ask yourself, do I want the fun, or do I want the bills? 8. Whole life insurance. Many people believe whole life insurance is an investment, but in reality, it's one of the slowest, most expensive ways to build wealth. Here's how it works. You pay high premiums to an insurance company, and in exchange, you get a cash value that grows over time. Sounds great, right? But there's a catch. The growth of that cash value is much slower than other investments, and the insurance company charges you high fees to manage your policy. Let's break it down. Imagine you're paying $500 a month into a whole life insurance policy. After 10 years, the value of that policy might have grown to $20,000. But in the same 10 years, if you had invested that same $500 a month into stocks or real estate, you could have significantly more, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on the market conditions. Wealthy individuals typically avoid whole life insurance because they understand that their money can grow much faster in assets like stocks, real estate, or businesses. Whole life insurance doesn't offer the same return on investment, and you're stuck with those high premiums year after year. The wealthy use life insurance policies like term life insurance for protection, while investing their savings elsewhere. So before you jump into a whole life insurance policy, ask yourself, would I be better off putting this money into something that actually grows faster? 9. Fancy gadgets and tech upgrades. Tech companies are absolute masters of marketing. Every year, a new iPhone is released, a new MacBook is on the horizon, and before you know it, you're convinced that you need the latest tech. But here's the catch. Does your old phone suddenly stop working just because a new one came out? Of course not. The reality is, your current gadgets still work just fine, but we're constantly being told that the newer version is better, which creates this false sense of urgency. The cost of upgrading your tech every year can add up quickly. A brand new iPhone might cost you $1,000 or more, and a new MacBook can easily run $2,000. If you're upgrading every year just to keep up with the latest trends, you're throwing away thousands on things that don't actually improve your life. Wealthy people don't fall for this trap. They use their gadgets until they really need an upgrade, not just because a new version is available. They understand that spending money on unnecessary tech upgrades doesn't contribute to long-term wealth building. The money they don't spend on the latest phone is better spent on investments that generate returns. So before you decide to upgrade your phone or laptop, ask yourself, is this really something I need, or am I just buying into the marketing hype? 10. Expensive weddings. Weddings are beautiful, no doubt. But have you ever stopped to consider how much they actually cost? The average wedding today can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 or even more. That's a lot of money for just one day of celebration. You could use that same amount to buy a house, start a business, or make an investment that could grow your wealth over time. But instead, people pour that money into a single day that's over in a few hours. And let's be honest, many people go into debt for their weddings. They borrow money to fund a day of celebration, hoping that everything goes perfectly. But at the end of it, all they have to show for it is a set of memories and a lot of debt. Wealthy people understand that financial security lasts a lifetime, while a wedding is just one day. They still celebrate, but they focus on making smart financial choices. They prioritize building wealth over impressing guests with extravagant displays of opulence. Instead of spending $30,000 on a wedding, they might spend a fraction of that and invest the rest into something that will pay off in the future. So, before you start planning an expensive wedding, ask yourself, am I spending money on something meaningful that will have a long-lasting impact? Or am I just following societal expectations and impressing people who won't remember the details anyway? 11. The wrong mindset. The final asset that's keeping you poor is your mindset. You can't build wealth without having the right approach to money. If you always think of money as something to be spent on immediate gratification, designer clothes, tech upgrades, vacations, you'll never truly get ahead. The rich understand that money is a tool. It's a tool that can be used to build wealth and create opportunities, but it requires discipline and patience. Most people are caught up in the cycle of instant gratification. We see something we want, and we buy it, whether we can afford it or not. This behavior leads to debt, financial instability, and a lifetime of stress. But the wealthy see things differently. They focus on long-term goals, saving and investing for the future, and using money to build assets that appreciate over time. You need to shift your mindset. Stop seeing money as something that's meant to be spent on temporary pleasures, and start seeing it as a tool to create more wealth. Start investing in assets that generate income, like real estate, stocks, or businesses. By making smart financial decisions today, you can secure a much better financial future tomorrow. In conclusion, the biggest difference between the rich and the poor isn't just about how much money you make. It's about how you manage it. The poor often fall for financial traps disguised as assets, while the rich focus on long-term wealth-building strategies that give them financial freedom. Start putting your money into real investments, things that grow, build wealth, and generate cash flow. Cut out the financial traps that keep you poor, and focus on making your money work for you. Real wealth doesn't come from spending on liabilities. It comes from investing in things that increase in value. If you found this video valuable, hit the like button, subscribe for more insights, and drop a comment below. Let me know which of these mistakes you've made in the past and how you plan to change your financial habits going forward. I love hearing from you, and I read every comment.